All right, welcome everybody back to another episode of the Big Doug and Carmi Show. Your one-stop shop for all things Commanders. It's a Best Ball Monday. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button so that you never miss an episode like today's episode with Joe Dolan from Fantasy Points. Joe, how are you, buddy?
Doing well, guys. Thanks for having me on the show. Just getting ready for I think 5 weeks from now, we'll be breaking down the what happened in the week one slate and everything we
Crazy.
think we know now. We realize we didn't know, so it's going to be a lot of fun. But looking forward to drafting with you guys.
It is wild that we're this close to real football. It seems like the season just ended. I suppose the season just doesn't end anymore. Joe, editor in chief, owner, Fantasy Points. Tell us a little bit about Fantasy Points, how it got started, and how you got started.
Yeah, so well, I got started in the industry. I apologize to your listeners. My first job in the NFL was working for the Philadelphia Eagles website in 2008. And then when when that season was wrapping up, it was like an internship temp job type of thing. One of my coworkers there was going through Monster, and he saw a job posting for somebody in Atlantic City who was like looking for young guys who have an interest in fantasy football, who can relocate, write for a fantasy football publication. That was in 2009. And like this is now my 17th season as a professional in fantasy football. And the way the industry has changed since the day I met John Hansen in 2009 to now is just staggering. Just like I mean, fantasy's been popular for that long, but it kind of the boom for fantasy kind of coincided with the launch of Twitter in 2008 2009, when that platform really started to take off and the proliferation of information was so easy for people to get. And then Red Zone came, and you were able to follow your fantasy teams in real time. So I've kind of had to grow up with the industry, and now I guess I'm an elder statesman. I've been doing this for 17 years, really, but it is a job. You can make real money talking about fake football, and it's been something that we've now parlayed into Fantasy Points, which is the people who own Fantasy Points, myself, John Hansen, Scott Barrett, Tom Brawley, Graham Barfield, and others. We're the people who do the work, but now we have other great contributors, but like we're not high capital owned, right? We are the company was self-founded, self-funded, and it's and we're here now, and we've grown a lot in the last couple of years, and I'm really proud of that.
Awesome. So, Joe, we're waiting for about 3 people going into the queue in a moment. I'm just kind of curious. So, going into Best Ball, who's someone that you're absolutely smashing in the first or second round? Who's some people that you're really high on going in this year?
Well, one of the names that I've been super high on all off season, but then you have to change your information, right, as you get more information. I love Puka Nacua this year, but the Matthew Stafford back injury is really starting to concern me a little bit. So for somebody like me who's done a bunch of drafts all off season, I might be more willing to just kind of like back off of Nacua just a little bit and just say, all right, you're already pot committed. I've been doing a ton of drafts where I have Nacua. I like Devontae Adams too this year, or I guess I did. Let's just put it this way. I really hope Matthew Stafford gets out on the field soon. For my bags there, no doubt. So he's been somebody I've been pounding. I really like CeeDee Lamb this year, but it also turns out that I haven't had a lot of opportunities to draft him, just the way the board has fallen. But towards the back end of the first round, I'm really enjoying clicking on Brian Thomas's name. And I think that opens up some really interesting possibilities. You can go receiver with like a Brian Thomas, Lad McConkey start. You can go Brian Thomas, Devon Achane, who I think is a really, really nice player. The Miami Dolphins and we'll talk about them if they end up on my team. They do seem to. I have a really interesting relationship with the Dolphins this year because I have a 5-unit wager on their win total under. But I also really like Achane and Waddle for fantasy. So it's a really, and look at this, we got the 10 picks. So
yeah.
So we might be executing one of those background strategies.
That's right. Do you have a preference? Do you prefer getting that almighty 1 spot, or do you not mind waiting and getting the turn?
I honestly don't really have a great preference this year.
Yeah.
There's players I really like in the second round, and like I said, you can take the build whichever way you want to go. Underdog drafts have typically been super wide receiver drunk. They always have been. I always have to remember that when I'm drafting on other platforms, where like I think DraftKings, for instance, best ball, I think their ADP is a lot softer. I think they're exploitable, but DraftKings, you can get behind it running back a little bit. I mean, you can put yourself behind it running back as a strategy, like zero or hero RB, of course. But if you're not planning on it, you might have to adjust your thinking. But I don't mind double clicking wide receiver from this particular spot. So we'll see what happens for us.
And absolutely. And as our guest picker, you're going to be kind of going through your thought process, telling us who you want. Just a reminder, we're playing Best Ball Mania, big prizes. It is not a super flex league, so we could potentially wait on a quarterback if you'd like. We have a 10 slot, and we're seeing Bijan and Chase coming off the board pretty chalk. What are you looking at for number 10?
Yeah, my eyes are already gravitating to the neighbors, Nico Collins, Brian Thomas. That's kind of where it's going. I don't know about you guys. We have a split opinion on staff with Christian McCaffrey. I haven't been clicking his name a whole lot. But I don't begrudge anybody who does, because we have seen him be a true league-breaking kind of guy.
I don't think I've drafted McCaffrey in like 3 years. It's one of those names that got stuck in my head, and I know you're not supposed to do that, but I just can't.
Last year, it worked for you. 2 years ago, it didn't work for you,
So let's kind of pause for 1 second. We're going to be on the board. Neighbors went off. Lamus went off. So we have McCaffrey, Nakua, Nico, and Amon-Ra. So, and
we're going to get one of our receivers.
Here we go, on the clock.
Okay, so let's click Nico Collins.
All right, I like that.
Again, if this was a week ago, I probably am clicking Puka Nakua's name, but sometimes you have to just go with the flow, right?
Nico's a dog. I had him last year. He definitely, when he pops. He's a great player. There goes Brian Thomas. We're going to be on the clock on the turn in about 2 picks. So we got one wide receiver. Are we going to add another one or running back? What are you thinking? Here we go, back on the clock.
Okay. I'm clicking H-An here.
Okay.
We had there. So I just think he's got, if Tua stays healthy, I just think he's got massive potential. I think he's true dual threat. I think 75 catches is within the range of outcomes here. And I'm like going for this kind of more of a balanced build here. There are still some receivers I really like on the board. By the way, if I didn't click H-An, I think I was going to go McConkey, and I was going to go for that double wide receiver.
Got you.
And by the way, in case you're wondering, not for nothing, I do have a Nico Collins, Lad McConkey builds. They have a week 17 matchup. In Best Ball Mania, that's a potential advantage. But for the sake of this one, I wanted to just go with H-An because I think he's got the potential to have just a massive season.
And I think it was Theo Greminger was on. He's with you guys, right? At Fantasy Points was telling us he was telling us we were way too low on H-Chain and way too low on Nico Collins. He was real big on Nico Collins.
I think Nico's got lead the league in receiving kind of potential.
Yeah. Hey, so John, go ahead, sir.
No. So it's just like the McConkey thing with Nico Collins. I think we can leverage the week 17 thing. Sometimes I go up and down on that. I think a lot of people think it's incredibly important, but if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe the Best Ball Mania winner last year had a massive week 17 stack. They just got massive week 17 performances. And that's obviously always preferable to just to forcing a stack, So, but I mean, we're talking about two guys who could catch 100 passes this year. So tough decision, but let's go with H-An and see how that works.
Just a quick follow-up to that. So regular ADP, let's kind of focus our mindset on redraft right now. I'm seeing Genty go ahead of Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry. Is that kind of where you think he should be landing? I feel like it's a lot of investment for a rookie running back without a lot of production on the field. And we saw Henry blow up last year.
About 6 picks out just for what it's worth.
Yeah, that Henry Genty, that's like the same tier to me. So like this is how I talk to people about this. This is how I view rankings, right? I'm doing a high volume of drafts, and I understand not everybody has that luxury, But if I'm doing 10 drafts, I might take Henry 6 times and Genty 4 times if I have that binary decision,
Diversify a
right?
little bit.
So like, that's where like you can
Here's
get
your
out
foot
of.
on. Sorry to interrupt you. It's going to fly by. So we have like about 20 seconds. Anybody you're interested in now, like Lamar?
Let's see here. Smith and Jigba on the board.
Just went off.
Okay, let's go. Is Chase Brown available?
Let's take a look. Yes, he is.
No,
he's gone.
He was drafted. Oh crap. Let's go with who's on here. Let's take George Kittle. George Kittle.
All right, let's do it. Gonna get him. No, they got Lamar.
No,
okay, well,
right.
I might get him on the turnaround. Let's see what happens.
We probably can get him on the turn. It's not tough fallback to have to.
That's not, and that's actually not that bad because now you're going to get into potentially. Well, there goes George Kittle. Maybe somebody's watching the show.
Yeah. Exactly.
Let's see here. Lamar. We've got Lamar. Okay.
I'm surprised because that means Kittle's going higher than he was just a week ago. Because when Kittle was going like 4th, 5th round, to me that was the biggest steal of best ball.
Yep.
Okay, let's look at the receivers who are available. McLaurin.
We're actually on the clock right now again.
Yeah,
Rishi Rice, McLaurin, Ted McMillan.
Okay, I'm going to take Ted Tyrell and McMillan.
All right.
Again, so Rishi Rice is somebody I had a ton of early, just because all the information was he's not going to get suspended this year. Turns out he probably will be. So now we got Ted Tyrell and McMillan. Okay,
Nico.
So Nico.
A-Chain and Lamar. It's a pretty good start, I think.
Solid start.
If the suspension for Rishi Rice is say 2 games, does that scare you
if
less?
two games, right. I'm probably bumping him back into the 3rd round.
Yeah. Okay. That sounds from everything I'm hearing, and maybe about 2 games, but who knows?
Let me ask both of you guys while we're on this topic. So I'm in a keeper league. I have the option of keeping DK Metcalf in the 3rd round, Rishi Rice in the 5th round, or Pickens in the 6th round. Who would you keep? I could probably keep 2, to be honest with you.
I don't Metcalf know the value on any of them. Okay, Metcalf's a 4th round pick. Yeah.
Rice in the
I would say Rice and Pickens if I had to keep 2 of them.
Okay. Good call.
I, by the way, was considering Metcalf with that pick, but
okay.
There goes JMO.
You want to throw some people in the queue?
Yeah.
Who do you like
here? Okay, let me go. Let's see who's. Oh, I love Kenneth Walker.
All right, people love him right now.
I know he's dinged up. I know. Yeah. Calvin Ridley and certainly Zay Flowers because that would give us a Lamar stack.
Okay.
That might be somebody to prioritize actually, even though like he's fine this year. Could also throw Mark Andrews in the queue, even though he's not coming up for a while.
Okay.
He's like a 9th round pick, but he can move up a little bit because of the likely injury. Chuba is Chuba's fine.
Throw him in there.
Let's
leave him alone.
Yeah, we can throw him in there. He's just fine. I wouldn't be. There goes Zay. Devontae Smith. Okay, who do we got at wide receiver here? Show me the receivers.
Hunter, Odunze, Olave, Jennings, Samuel,
let's see.
Addison.
Throw Hunter. Odunze's gone. Debo.
I like Debo.
Yeah. Well, with the McLaurin situation, I'm sure you guys know that's probably getting settled. I mean, but you never know.
People love Matthew Golden. It might be early for him though.
Whether they get McLaurin settled or not, he's under contract and playing. They didn't do all the work.
All right, let's take Debo here. Let's take Debo.
I like it.
Yeah, it's like so you guys, how do you feel Debo's moving?
Go ahead, Doug.
Well, I mean, by all accounts at camp, he's without Terry there. He's the number 1 receiver, and they've been using him more like that. I mean, it's early in camp, obviously, but it's no gadget stuff. Like he's out there running routes and catching deep fades, and like if they can get him into that and still do some of the other stuff that he likes to do well. I mean, you think about what he was really complaining in San Francisco was because he wanted to be used as a wide receiver.
Now, all right, there goes Addison. Is George Pickens available?
Let's take a look. No, he's gone.
Okay. Let's take Chuba.
All right, let's do it. And just to kind of piggyback on the Debo Samuel thing, I totally agree, Doug. I think I went to training camp on last Tuesday. He looked great. Like I think there is some equity. I think Jane Dino's actually has confidence in Debo Samuel. Has been featuring him quite often. And I think Cliff Kingsbury is going to use him as a wide receiver, but more of like a yards after catch guy. So if it's a PPR league and it's screens and drags and things like that, he's going to be featured pretty heavily. I kind of like him at his ADP. I think it's a pretty good value pick.
Yeah, it's just so McLaurin is somebody even before the contract situation. I wasn't clicking a ton at ADP. Like the massive touchdown rate. The funniest thing about poor McLaurin is like for the first 6-7 years of his career, the guy couldn't buy a touchdown. And then this year he scores on 1 out of every 6 receptions, and you're like, all right, that might be a little unsustainable, but yeah, so he's a really challenging player for me to get a hold of. One thing I definitely want to ask you guys about is Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, because people are really nobody wants to draft Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler. Nobody wants to draft those guys. So what is it? Is it real?
I think it's real. I don't know how you feel, Doug. So I was talking about this on a fantasy podcast last night. Eckler, he's a great real player, but in regard to fantasy, I think he might have lost a step. He only had 367 rushing yards last year and 4 touchdowns. He had no receiving touchdowns last year, believe it or not. So I think he's a functional player in real life, but I wouldn't be, banging, maybe really late in the draft, I could take him. Brian Robinson, solid, 800 yards rushing, 9 touchdowns. He's a pretty decent player, but Krosky-Merritt, I think he was ADPs at 250, or it's really late. I mean, getting him in the 10th, 11th, 12th round is definitely worth the risks. I do think he will eventually start taking some RB1 carries, RBBC later on in the year. So I don't know if it's going to be an early investment, but a late investment, I think he'll start paying off as the year goes on, in my opinion.
I'm pretty sure Emeka Egbuka just went before Chris Godwin.
Yeah, is that what happened? It's
I'm pretty sure that just happened. Yeah,
it did just happen.
So can we look at the receivers?
Yeah, still a couple on the queue right now because we're up in a little bit.
Okay.
Kier, Downs, Mooney, Higgins, Kupp, Ayuk.
Our advanced metrics absolutely love Josh Downs.
People love Josh Downs. I see that
love him. Now, the quarterback situation is a little concerning to me, but I mean, am I supposed to? Well, there he goes. Damn it! People are just let's see.
They must be watching the show, man. Exactly. So
I tell you what. Let's not get cute here. Let's take Mark Andrews. Let's get that stack.
Right.
Okay.
I know it's ahead of ADP, but this is best ball mania, right? You got to do something a little. And this, I don't think this guy's going to take him. No. All right. Good.
And let's be forward thinking. So we're going to get Andrews and maybe think about a couple people to put in the queue. It'll take 10 seconds to process a little bit.
Did you draft him?
I'm about to. I'm giving us some time because it's going to go by quick.
Jaylen Warren is interesting to me. I'm starting to like him a little bit more. Apparently, Caleb Johnson's really struggling with pass pro.
Okay.
The Aaron Jones, I think the Aaron Jones Jordan Mason split is real. I think that's happening. So I'm not terribly enthused about Aaron Jones. I think Tony Pollard. The thing about Tony Pollard is we already have a boring veteran running back in Chuba Hubbard, but
we got A-Chain as well though. So we have the a lightning in a bottle. 17 seconds. So we're on the clock.
Okay, let's see here. Darnell Mooney's freaking shoulder is scaring me, but he was almost as good as Drake London at points last year.
He was.
Let's go with Jaylen Warren.
All right, let's do it. Come on, got him in there.
I like that. Time. Yeah.
So
he's going to get more work as a pass catcher.
Yeah, so and the only thing that concerns me is they have Kenny Gainwell, who the Eagles really trusted in pass pro situations. And so he can fill in, but Caleb Johnson, look, it's Arthur Smith. The guy's out there jerking off with 0-4-0-4 personnel, right? He's going to run the football. So I actually have quite a bit of Tony Pollard already. So I guess maybe mentally I'm treating this like it's my team.
It's fine. I think it's hilarious that we're investing so heavily in the Panthers. we have the Panthers wide receiver one and their running back. I think it's hilarious.
Yeah, which is funny. They were a competitive team last year. People.
Yeah, at the end of the year. You're right.
Yeah.
People forget they almost beat the Eagles. Had they not dropped a pass, they would have. Xavier Legette dropped a pass. All right, let's target receivers now.
All right.
The Panthers play the Seahawks in week 17, which I guess would be I have a really, really hard time imagining Cooper Kupp's going to be healthy for that game, though. It's just that is a player I have not, and I haven't clicked his name a whole lot at all. I love Rashid Shaheed.
He's the ultimate best ball player, in my opinion, right? He's and
by the way,
best ball player.
Before he went down, he had like 4 huge games and he got shut out by the Eagles. But like that was I think that might have been one of Quinyon Mitchell's breakout games. So but like
he'll break your heart in redraft, but in best ball he's fantastic.
Also, can we get a double stack? Can we get Rashad Bateman, who I like this year?
Let's do it.
Will this be the year? Will this be Rashad's year?
Yeah, I mean, Bateman. Well, our metrics like him last year. Now, we have a metric called average separation score, and the Ravens receivers are all great at it, which makes me think there might be some scheme involved. But we do try to separate scheme out of it. So Bateman was good in that department.
How does that work? How do you get the scheme out?
So there's always going to be some level of subjectivity to it, right?
Yeah.
But we have a process, a multi-step process that our data team could explain better than I can. That we call the term earned separation. Did the receiver win with a move or a route that he made, or for instance, let's use a really obvious example.
Here, hold on. We're about to go on the clock in like 2 seconds. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
All right, let's take Bateman.
All right,
get that double stack going.
And then let's kind of wait a couple seconds. Yeah. Anyone else want to throw in the queue real quick?
Yeah, let's go through the receivers. I don't know what the hell to do with Brandon Ayuk.
I'm gonna draft Bateman.
Yeah, draft him. Let's see. Scroll down a little bit. Put Joshua Palmer in there because I got information about him.
Where is he? Did I pass him?
He just up a little bit. We love Cedric Tillman as well, and if Joe Flacco starts, that's a boon.
Yeah.
But right now, let's see. The Ravens play the Packers. Is Romeo Doubs available? Or did he go?
I think he'd probably go on. Let's take a look. Oh, he's there. I'm going to. So we're actually on the clock right now.
Yeah, let's take Romeo Doubs.
Okay.
Because that gives us a week 17 little bit of.
Are you buying the Matthew Golden hype? I keep seeing that all over my Twitter feed.
The problem is it's hard for me to draft the Packers' most expensive receiver.
That's true.
Just because
so many of them, right?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So anyway, I wanted to use one of the most like I was coming up with like a trick play. Like if you look at the Philly special from the Super Bowl when Nick Foles caught the touchdown, he would not get he would get a 0 for separation on that,
right? Because
he didn't get open himself. The play was designed, and he was open because of the play design, right? Okay. So, but if you see Terry McLaurin, running away from a corner, he's going to get a positive on separation. And that's how we kind of it's not possible for a receiver to gain separation on every play because there's plays on which they're not one-on-one on somebody. And it gets a little hairy in zone because you have to understand the way they're manipulating zone. But we ran some tests, and it's the separation metrics that we have a few years for, and we have to do a little more tests, regression. It correlates pretty well to fantasy production. So it's one piece of the puzzle, but sometimes it can be a really nice tiebreaker.
How many people are on the data side of things for you guys?
Oh God, I would say about 24.
Wow.
Now we have some guys who are full time. We have 3 or 4 full timers, and then we have a lot of people who do it as just extra scratch. They just want to they enjoy watching football. And those guys are seasonal. It would be probably similar to the way other people do it in the industry.
Yeah.
Joe, I saw your boy Drake make him off the board. I know you like him.
He's a really popular quarterback for me. As a matter of fact, the funny part is, just because we timed out and drafted Lamar, that the Lamar build actually isn't a common build for me this year.
That's funny.
Interesting.
We'll reach out in a couple months. Hopefully we win.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's Lamar Jackson. I'm not going to be upset about drafting Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Who do we have? Who do we have here? Quarterback, wide receivers. We have 5 receivers, I think.
Yeah, we have 5 receivers, 1 quarterback, 3 running backs. I was gonna ask you. That's why I threw it out there. We have Lamar. Are you just sitting on that just nice and pretty, or do we get a quarterback because JJ McCarthy is there too? You just got to take.
Well, there goes McCarthy anyway. So no big deal. Let's take let's see. Do people after us have 2 quarterbacks? Yes. Okay. Don't take. We'll queue up CJ Stroud, but don't take him yet.
Okay.
Because the people after us have 2 quarterbacks.
You're smart. We have 10 seconds.
Let's take Joshua Palmer.
Okay.
You want to talk separation scores? Look, I know he's dealing with injuries, and he hasn't been like a huge target earner. I understand that, but he's our 6th receiver, and he wins against man. It's something he's always done. The Bills had literally no one who could win against man last year. No one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's going to serve a very specific role, and I think Josh Allen's really going to like him as their man beater on the perimeter.
I like your situational awareness, by the way, by looking at the 2 different quarterbacks. That was smart.
Yeah, me too.
I like that. That's slick.
Real quick for Washington, Carter, the unofficial depth chart either came out last night or it's coming out this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to be up next. So if CJ Stroud
take
falls
CJ
in our
Stroud,
lap,
yeah, take CJ Stroud. We have his number 1 receiver.
Hell yeah, man.
So we'll take him.
I like that.
All right, and then we are done at quarterback. You can just click that position off because look, here's the fact of the matter. If the 3rd quarterback matters on a Lamar Jackson team, that team's dead anyway.
Right.
So
right.
so like that's the way I'm looking at it, right?
Fair.
Are you
because
with
for
Mark
us to have success with this team, we need Lamar Jackson to be successful.
We need to go off.
This team's dead otherwise.
MVP, yeah, we need MVP Lamar Jackson. We have Mark Andrews. I kind of like that stack right there. It's a good stack, and I like the Nico Collins, Stroud. This is probably my favorite team so far, though. We've done like maybe 4 or 5 so far.
Oh, really? Because I felt like we're flying by the seat of our pants here. Okay.
No, we're looking good.
I definitely want to attack running back and tight end a little bit more than receiver right now, even though I like Cedric Tillman. Right. Let's see who's available. Kyle Pitts. Freaking forget about it. Ugh.
Yeah, dude.
No, thank you.
Every time.
No, thank you. I'm done with him.
Broke my heart last year.
I would really. We're way too far away here, so I don't think we're gonna get him.
You can throw a couple in there. Why not? Who cares?
But I mean, Ray Davis is highest in ADP.
Okay.
Trey Benson has good handcuff appeal. I don't buy the 1A and 1B thing. I talked to Johnny Venerable of PHNX, and he was like, James Conner's the guy. They extended him. They're not in the business of paying for past performance. There goes Trey. There goes Trey Benson. Anyway, I want nothing to do with Nick Chubb based on what I've heard out of Texans camp from my guy. I hate that. I hate that for Nick Chubb because he's awesome. But yeah.
What are you hearing? Is banged up?
Slow.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How about Algier?
All right.
Braylon Allen's interesting.
He is that interesting, actually. He killed. I had Breece Hall last year. Braylon Allen drive me crazy. Definitely ate into his.
He faded down the stretch, but I actually believe Aaron Glenn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I believe I believe Aaron Glenn when he says I'm going to use multiple. Now he thinks. Now maybe Braylon Allen is David Montgomery and Breece Hall is.
We just missed out on Ray Davis.
He just took a 6th running back. Oh my god!
Do you want Allen or do you want?
Let's take Braylon Allen. Yeah, let's take Braylon.
All right, and let's kind of sit on it for a second. We have a couple seconds. Is anybody you want to put in the queue?
Hunter Henry.
Are you in on Garendo or no?
Not really.
Really.
I'll take him as just like a backup kind of guy.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not thrilled.
Brandon
I don't know.
Strange.
It just seems like
if
the 49ers draft a running back, they eventually hate him.
Yeah,
I like Brenton Strange, but I like Hunter Henry more.
Got it.
Yep.
We'll throw him in just in case it gets snatched up. Anybody else you're interested in? What do you think about Zach Ertz? I mean, I'm a homer potentially.
Totally fine with it. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
I just think Henry's got more touchdown upside.
Okay.
It'll be interesting if they can get a full year's worth of production of what Ertz did in the last 4 or 5 games in the playoffs where he was a touchdown machine.
Henry anyway.
Then you're stealing. But
so
I like Ertz better than any of these tight ends ahead of him.
Let's do
So
it.
I'm fine taking him. Take him. Gotta get some homer picks on here. Oh, we already have Lobo as well. Well, there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Now you might have now look. I think the Terry McLaurin thing gets resolved, and I think you guys know way better than me the Commanders need Terry McLaurin. Like
They do. They
Yeah.
do. And I think
and Terry knows they need him. Terry knows
Well,
they need him.
he's also under contract, so technically,
Yeah.
here's Terry's problem in a nutshell. He's under contract this year, so he either plays or he doesn't. His biggest problem is his age, so skipping a year doesn't help him at all. And frankly, the Commanders just tag him for 2 years if they felt
Yeah.
like being
Exactly. That's cheaper
dirty
than-
that way.
yeah,
So it's
for a long time, but-
and then he's 33 or
Look
32,
at,
and
look
it's
at
like
Krosky
that's the
Merritt
problem
in
with
the
Terry's
board.
14th round.
there he is.
There he is.
That's Terry's problem is that whatever leverage he should have, his age, and I don't think it should matter, but it obviously has mattered.
Mhm. You know, and you can also flip that on its side too and say, look, you guys have seen the projections. The Commanders have the oldest roster in the NFL, right? Like
Sure.
this is very clearly the moves they made this offseason are the moves of a team that says, we have an unexpected Super Bowl window. Let's attack that Super Bowl.
That's
window.
right.
Absolutely.
So
And,
like,
and that's the leverage Terry has, obviously.
yeah,
is you
because
don't make
like,
all the moves they've done to not bring back Terry McLaurin. It defeats the
I mean,
purpose.
because without him, their offense is slow. Let's just be like the fastest player on their offense is who Jalen Lane, who is a 4th round pick.
Right.
So like, you know,
Yeah.
he's got speed, but you know, he's a 4th round pick for a reason. That doesn't mean Terry McLaurin was a 3rd round pick. So obviously you can become a good player out of that spot, but regardless. Okay, let's see here. What's available at running back? I'm not thrilled with any of this. The one
Miles Sanders, maybe no.
eh,
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like him either. But I was on a Cowboys podcast yesterday, and they were like, "Oh, he's going to start," and they're hyping him up, of course. But
what Cowboys podcast?
It was the fantasy 6-pack. It was
Okay.
it was something different. We're just talking.
Yeah,
about
I mean, I'm just like, look, Miles Sanders ran for 1,200 yards in Philly, and they immediately replaced him.
Exactly right.
He went to
Yeah.
Carolina on a big money deal and couldn't even get on the field.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
that really doesn't.
Now, you mentioned
doesn't
the Houston
inspire me.
running, but what about Woody Marks? Does he
That's
interest
the
you at
name
all?
that was kind of standing out to
Yeah.
me.
All right.
Now,
Particularly if Nick Chubb's slow and not going to play, makes me feel way
Well,
better about Woody
the
Marks.
thing that's really interesting about that team is my guy in Houston is like the guy who's actually stood out the most in camp is Jawar Jordan.
Right.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
but he's like he's not an RB1 kind of guy.
Yeah.
So I got to go look him up.
Yeah.
What's that available at receiver? Just curiously.
We're actually on the clock, by the way.
Yeah. Let's take Woody Marks.
Okay. Darius Slayton, is that interesting to you at all, or no?
Yeah, I mean, look, the one thing Russell Wilson can do is throw the deep ball. But
Yeah.
of course, we'd
Mhm.
feel much better about all of their weapons if Jameis started. But
Exactly right.
I don't think Jameis is going to
Fan-
start.
At least, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're gonna be on the clock in a second, so we throw a couple in the queue real quick.
Yeah. Let's just see. We are old at tight end, so it might not be dumb to take a 3rd one.
Okay. Jonnu.
Yeah, I'm cool with Jonnu.
Okay.
I think they're going to use him.
Yeah, and I think Arroyo's in for a fairly big year too, right? They get rid of tight end 1 there. They spent decent capital on Arroyo, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Arroyo dominated at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, right. That's why I said I would not be surprised if he figures into their plan sooner than later. There.
Yeah, getting a 3rd tight end here on this team. Well, if we have John, we'll have 3 old ones, but I feel like we'll have 3 guys who will play. So
Yeah.
I like that.
Point. Okay, let's do it.
he'll have a couple. Like I feel like John will have a couple spike games, right?
And that's what best
Because
ball's all
Arthur
about.
Smith loves him.
Yeah.
He loves
Yeah.
him. So all right, we're done at tight end.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're just running back receiver from now on.
All right, let's do it. I agree.
We have
Who's
2
good at
more
quarterback
picks.
too?
Now, typically, the typical build is 2-5-8-3. 6-7-3 isn't going to bother me all that much.
Okay.
So a name I'm a little surprised Will Shipley's not off the board yet.
It's a handcuff. How many best
Yeah,
ball
he-
leagues have you done, Joe? I'm just curious about that.
Oh boy. Let's see here. Let's see how many I finished this year. And that doesn't count the ones I'm on the clock in. And this is just underdog because I have FFPC and DraftKings going as well.
Got you.
Let's see. Drafts result. Nope. Completed. exposure. All right. 72 so far.
Jesus. Okay.
And
That's awesome.
that's so across all platforms over. And I'm in that really weird spot. There's one of my favorite sleeper running backs, Brashard Smith.
Smith. Yeah, I can see that too.
I'm in that really weird spot where real best ball sickos don't think I'm doing enough, and normal people are just like, what the hell is wrong with you? So for instance, let me just reveal a fact about myself. I've seen the Dave Matthews Band 30 times.
Love them
over the course of like 20 some years.
Yeah.
To normal people, that is sickening. Like what the hell do you do?
But not Dave
among
fans.
Dave Matthews Band fans.
Right.
I haven't even seen him. Like there's people who've seen him 300 sometimes. So like it's like dude, I'm averaging like a concert and a half over the last 25 years, right? Like per year. That's nothing. So like that's kind of what best ball is to me right now.
Exactly.
I noticed Jalen Royals there. I've seen a lot of him on my timeline out of Kansas City.
I like Jalen Noel because damn it. He knew we had CJ Stroud, didn't he?
Yeah, Noel.
You know what? Yeah, Slayton's a good click here. Yeah, Slayton's a good click. But Royals is really interesting just because he was raw, but he is big and he is physical.
Yeah.
And he might find his way onto the field. It's funny, Brashard Smith was a 16th round pick here, so I'm not trying to say, oh my God, we're jumping all over ourselves to draft Brashard Smith. But like Jalen Royals was a 3rd round pick.
Right.
Like that's somebody you expect to start for you or play for you at some point.
On the clock again.
Let's see here. Calvin Austin. Let's go with Jalen Royals. Get a little upside pick there.
Sure. Why not? All
right. So now, you know what? I was gonna say in hindsight, because we didn't do the here's the other thing with Collins McConkey, which we didn't do. Because of the nature of best ball, Collins McConkey starts, I think, are going to be extremely popular. So doing Collins and not McConkey might actually give us a little bit more uniqueness in the format.
Exactly,
this is one of the most unique teams I've drafted. I don't think we have a whole lot of week 7. Like Washington plays Dallas. I don't think we have anybody from Dallas. Houston.
Is that a problem if they play each other? Because like I said, low scoring game can wipe each other out. Is that what happens?
Well, the opposite is if they have a shootout in week 17, you flop the nuts, right?
Yeah.
But everybody's like nowadays, everybody forces week 17 stacks, so maybe you're better off playing for the weeks up ahead. It's really
it's a crapshoot.
Somebody can put this into better words than I can, like somebody who's done the data research. But look,
Ian Harditz was on telling us about how the best ball junkies have switched to focusing on that week 17 matchup more than at any other time doing best ball. I hear it, like I hear you singing, and I just hear it in my ear a whole lot more, waiting and watching for 17.
Yeah, and but then if everybody does it, well, then you still need to get to week 17, right? So, like I said, I believe the Best Ball Mania winner last year did not even have a week 17 stack. I believe there was a week 16 game stack in there. So, it's just one of the factors you can go with. But look, if Lamar Jackson has an MVP type season, this dog's hunting. That's the way I look at it.
I like our wide receivers, to be honest with you. So I definitely think we did a good job. So, Jill, let's kind of recap real quick. Here's our big board. I'm just kind of see how the board fell, see if we made the right decisions. Looking at the first round, Nico Collins. I love Nico Collins in the first round. I think he's a great player, turning around a Devon A-Chain. We saw wide receivers go pretty heavy in the first round. That's definitely a trend that we noticed. Running backs are more in round 2. Is there anything you regret, or are you happy with the way it worked out in round 1 and 2?
I regret timing out for the Lamar pick, but it actually came out with a unique build. I would have liked to have a little bit more game stacks lined up because I'm not sure we have anything in week 16 lined up all that well either. Nonetheless, I think Collins A-Chan is going to be more unique than Collins McConkey, which gives us a fighting chance if these players do what I think they can do.
I guess my other question would be running backs. Are you more of a hero running back, or are you more of a running back?
Very much so. Very much
hero
so.
running back. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. I was wondering because they seem to fly off in the first round, then it kind of gets iffy mid-second to third round, in my opinion.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's just say, for instance, we took McConkey with Nico.
Yeah. Yep.
And then we come back around and we didn't time out this pick.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Brees Hall was the next running back taken. I'm a little iffy on that.
Me too.
Kyron Williams is a player who people are
love him or hate
really people really hate Kyron Williams. All the guy has done is produce.
Mm-hmm.
I know they take running backs every year and it drives us nuts. But do I feel great about Kyron as my one? Probably not. But so ultimately, I think we ended up with as good a team as we could have.
Mm-hmm.
With Achane going off the board in the second round. Let's see here.
George Kittle and George Pickens both went off the board real early, at least
yeah,
because
I wanted to take Kittle there.
Them.
Yeah, I wanted to take Kittle there, and I was shocked where Pickens went. But again, if you're doing these large field tournaments, guys are drafting weird. They're drafting weird on person to create unique builds, you know? So I really would have liked Kenneth Walker to fall to us.
Why do people love him so much? People love Kenneth Walker. I'm just kind of curious.
Because I think the new offense is an awesome fit for him.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
He is a freelancing jazz musician of a running back, and an outside zone scheme will accentuate that creativity, in my opinion. Now, of course, he's dealing with foot soreness right now, which is why he fell to pick 55, but I still would have liked to take him there. Chuba Hubbard's boring, but he's effective. Ultimately, I think this was an all right team.
I like it, actually. It turned out pretty well. Yeah. I agree. I'm curious about Ted McMillan. We'll see how much he blows up over there. Chuba Hubbard.
He's a really good player, McMillan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is are you drafting? Are you clicking much of Brock Bowers at ADP?
No, and it's driving me nuts that I'm not. But we have a really young superstar at Fantasy Points named Ryan Heath, and Ryan wrote an article, Bowers versus McBride, and his answer was neither. And at ADP, and that scares the crap out of me. But I mean, I just
that's why I've been clicking a ton of Kittle, I think. And McBride, particularly, like, you can talk me into Bowers at ADP just because you know what he's going to do. I get it with McBride, but I don't get it with McBride. I mean, how many touchdowns has he had in the last 3 years? I mean, can you count them on both hands? I don't think so. I think you don't.
I think you need like one hand to count his touchdowns.
And that's what always confuses me as to why he's the draft darling every year. And it's like, explain it to me, because I don't quite understand it.
6 receiving touchdowns on 292 catches.
It's insane.
It is nuts.
One out of every 50 catches.
It's crazy.
Wild.
It's crazy.
And look at what you got to pay for him.
Yeah, and Underdog's half PPR too.
Right. DraftKings is full PPR, right?
DraftKings is full PPR. FFPC is 1.5 for tight ends. So, like of the major draft platforms, like Trey McBride is by far most. I mean, all tight ends are more valuable on FFPC, but Trey McBride is by far like 1.5 for reception. He doesn't even need to score touchdowns.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
My bad. I was just curious. Have you gotten into the guillotine leagues yet?
I've been in one in the past. Actually,
I haven't done it before.
Former MLB pitcher Brad Ziegler ran one. I dropped out just because I had. Well, quite frankly, I'll tell you why I dropped out, because the draft is at like 8 a.m. on a Sunday, and I'm just every year he's an early riser, and I'm like, I'm not getting up at 8 a.m. to do a 20-round auction draft, dude. but I had a lot of success with them, actually.
They're fun. They're a blast. They're a blast.
The thing is, it's really just setting yourself up to survive the first few weeks.
Exactly.
And the way I did that was just get starting quarterbacks, because depending on the size of the auction league, we did a super flex. Depending on the size of the guillotine league, which I think is almost always 16 teams, 17 teams, if you had a super flex, somebody's not going to have 2 starting quarterbacks. So a good way to ensure you made your way was I would spend big on one quarterback, and then I would go relatively cheaper, but like get a solid starter. So for instance, I would like pair like Lamar with Geno Smith this year, or something like that. And then I would just make sure I had stars on my team. It's the complete opposite way of how I would typically do an auction draft. I do not like going stars and scrubs. That is way too fragile for me. And I just hate the draft process of doing that. But in guillotine leagues, if you do an auction, it does work.
The guillotine's fun. You got to pace yourself. At least the league that I play in, you have a set budget on free agent waivers.
Oh, on free agent, of course.
Yeah, exactly. You just can't. You're going to be tempted to spend big money on a big player, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. Because if you save your money to the end, you can pick up some great players for like $1, $2, $3, $4. It's actually pretty cheap. That's a strategy that I found over the years. So
yeah, they're fun. I have dabbled for sure.
And then my question was, in the 10th round, we talked about young tight ends. We see Romeo Doubs here. Would you have taken Colson Loveland if we had more time? Because I see him at 113 versus 111.
Yeah, that's honestly, yeah. Now that I think about it, it would have been a nice pick. But as a third tight end, I don't know if we needed to invest that. I like Loveland this year. I like Tyler Warren as a prospect. I think Tyler Warren's just an awesome football player, but I think Loveland from a fantasy perspective is a little better. I don't know how to react to the Caleb Williams stuff, the training camp stuff. I don't know how to react to that stuff. It's just, I'm much more inclined to back a young player who is looking good and like people saying this is real, as opposed to, oh, this guy struggled today, especially quarterback. I don't really know how to react to that. Does it scare me off the Bears a little bit? Maybe, but I honestly, Loveland's the guy with the Bears that I'm most heavily invested in right now. And it's not, I mean, if Loveland doesn't have a great year, it's not going to be that big a deal for me. He was like a 10th, 11th round pick, right? Like the 12th round pick. So it's not, I just haven't been pulling the trigger. DJ Moore he's a polarizing player right now, especially for us. We had him as having by far the most design targets in the NFL last year. And design target is essentially like a screen pass, right? The quarterback snaps the ball. There's no read. The ball, it's essentially like a handoff. The ball goes to DJ Moore on a screen. And the reason that's concerning, not that he can't do those things. The reason that's concerning is there's a new coaching staff, right? So we have a new coaching staff. Are they going to do those same things with DJ Moore when you just drafted one of college football's most elite screen merchants in Luther Burden? So those are some of the questions that I'm asking myself. And now
they seem to hate him, though. They seem to hate Luther Burden. I keep seeing negative things coming out of camp. I don't know what you've heard, but they're not giving him any playing time.
Yeah, so he's been up and down, in and out, injury wise. So
right.
Yeah, who knows with the Bears, but I am worried about Caleb. Let's put it that way.
Gotcha.
Joe, before we get out of here, tell us about what you got going on Sirius XM.
For sure. 7 to 8 a.m. Eastern every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'm on with Paul Kelly. Tuesday, Thursday, Tom Brawley is on with Paul Kelly for Sirius XM Fantasy Football Morning, presented by Fantasy Points. We call it a power hour. It's just going through latest news, notes, all that stuff for Fantasy Points. From the Fantasy Points staff and taking your calls. But also the good news is Paul Kelly and I have just been renewed for season 16
I saw that.
of Fantasy Football Game Day, which will be from 1 to 6 Eastern every Sunday. And what we do is we take you around and we'll give you live game feeds. But the key that we have is we are tracking your fantasy teams and your fantasy stats. Whereas, if you listen to the program on NFL Radio, the guys do a great job of that. They're probably more focused on the competitive games and all that stuff. A 10-7 game, whereas for us, a 31-3 game has just as much importance. We're going to be giving you the news updates and all that stuff. Just to make sure all your players we'll re-hit the injuries, and it's a way to follow your fantasy football teams live. It's chaotic, it's hectic, but it's a lot of fun, and that'll be on Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio every Sunday during NFL season. Presuming I don't get hurricaned out again. I missed 2 weekends of radio show because of Hurricane Helene last year. And
in Florida, where are you at? Texas?
I am in upstate South Carolina.
Gotcha, South Carolina. Okay, got you.
So I'm right below Asheville, North Carolina. And
gotcha, know where you're at. Yeah.
Thank God we did not get hit nearly as bad as Asheville did.
Yeah,
but I still lost power for 10 days.
I'm out here in Carolina Beach, so I know what you're talking about, and we got hit hard by them too.
Yeah, so I'm glad everything seems to be okay. But yeah, I'm in Greenville, South Carolina. My wife teaches at Clemson University, so we're that's where we're at. We're displaced Pennsylvanians, but nonetheless, we enjoy it here so long as it doesn't have a hurricane. Unseasonably cool here, Doug, right now, by the way. It's in like the low 70s.
Oh, wow. That's very cool.
Very cool.
Joe, this was fantastic, buddy. I appreciate you coming on and doing this. I'd love to have you on again sometime.
Oh, this was fantastic, guys. I had a lot of fun. Hope the team does well. A little bit of a different build for me, but nonetheless, hope we have some fun.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, dude.
Steven.